Essentially, you as a group are being seen as a group of collectors, and you're collecting on a theme which is an interest in disability or experience of disability and the experiences that you want to communicate.
The Access Advisory Group are people who live in a local area who have a lived everyday experience of what it is to have a disability. We're at a really early stage of our project, and what we're trying to do here is to tell a story that hasn't been told before about any of the objects in our collection.
We're asking you to look at things today and see how it links to you. And I want you to stay quite flexible at this stage about what might happen. Once we've chosen the objects, then you've got time to think more about the different themes.
So when Rachel asked me to look through our database and try and draw objects that represent disability, it was difficult because you had to kind of search by a lot of different terms to pull things out.
There's no doubt that some of the objects are quite negative depictions, but that's where the strength is of you as individuals approaching the topic, because you can make it quite human and about your own experience.
I'm on the panel because my eldest daughter is autistic. It's important that I try and bring her voice out and try and explain the difficulties she can have in museums. I saw this and it instantly made me think of my kids, because we took them to the Olympics and they wouldn't really look at that and think disabled person in a wheelchair, they'd just think athlete.
We had a lot of objects obviously in the collection that relate to being blind, and especially blind musicians, which in itself is its own stereotype.
What came to mind for me was, what else can a blind person do? That's kind of important, because if you put your mind to it, then you can achieve your goals and dreams if you're blind, as long as you've got the right support. Like, it doesn't just apply to blind people, it applies to people who have dyslexia, who are on the autistic spectrum, so on and so on.
All the ministry, it's amazing.
Do you remember the sort of things that you've suggested they do?
More lighter.
Yes, so sort of lighting in that gallery. That's very true. Yes.
Yeah.
We realised last time we approached it all through the objects, but actually a better way of thinking about it is, what are the experiences that you want to put across to visitors, and what objects can we find that can help describe that? So if Felix wants to put in something about work, that object can do the speaking for your point of view without you feeling like you need to describe who you are within the context of disability.
I'm a born deaf person, and there have been some experiences of mental health episodes in the past, and for us to look at the academic research that we haven't previously had access to think in terms of today, in terms of comparisons, and thinking also back to that time when there was no awareness. So I think that this has been a really good experience to share these thoughts.
I think it's important that museums display objects that relate to disability, because it has resonance with all of us, all our families. We have stories, and these objects all speak to us, and they mean different things in different cultures, and it's important to bring those out.
I would like the display to be showing different stories like social care, achieving your goals, your dreams. It gives the wider public the understanding that disabled people can be of value to society.